All right, what is up, everybody? So, Dune Awakening comes out tomorrow for pre-orders, for people who pre-ordered. Now, I cover a lot of Warframe on this channel. I've done a couple like game reviews, but I'm probably going to be playing a lot of Dune, and I'm probably going to be covering it. So, just wanted to get that process started. Now, I really like Dune. Got my copy of the first book right here. It's very worn out from reading it so many times. I've read also Dune Messiah. I don't know where the other ones are. I don't know if I've read like the last book in the series, but it gets kind of weird after the second book. But I love the Dune universe. I just think it is like, well, I love Lord of the Rings, and I heard that J.R.R. Tolkien hated Frank Herbert. So I was like, okay, I really want to read his books too. So read Dune, I think like on a plane years ago, and I've just like loved it ever since. So awesome book series. Very 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 excited for this universe. I remember my dad showing me like the first Dune movie that was made in like the late 80s or something. So obviously we've come a really long way since then. So what's the Dune news today? So we got the server announcement. So there's a server list. You can also preload the game on Steam, which is really nice. So I think it doesn't matter if you pre-ordered or not. You can start or regardless of which edition you got, rather. So if you bought the base game, you'll be starting on June 10th. If you got the deluxe or above, you'll be starting tomorrow. So they just announced the different worlds. I'm definitely going to just pick a world that has the lowest ping for me and the lowest population because I don't have any friends. So I'm not going to be playing with anyone. Well, I mean, I do have some friends, but none that play Dune. So I'm not sure which of these I'll be playing on. I'm probably going to be trying my best to avoid any like big streamers because that I remember the fiasco of New World when that game launched, and everybody was trying to get on, whoever the popular streamer was. Like everybody was trying to flood that server, and it was just such a disaster. So, gonna take the same approach I took with that game, which is probably wait a little bit after launch, look at which world is empty, go there. I'm very excited about this game. Now, what really sold me on this game, I was very, very hesitant actually, because, I've had like hit or miss experiences with Funcom over the years. What actually really sold me was they were doing these Dune developer directs, which like I thought were really good. I mean, obviously coming from Warframe, which I think Digital Extremes, yeah, like Warframe's not a perfect game, but I really appreciate how much Digital Extremes reaches out to the community. So I really liked the dev streams. Oh man, that's a really terrible freeze frame for that poor dev. There we go. That's a better one. Actually, that's almost creepier. Never mind. Maybe this one will be better. All right. Oh, that's good. Okay. Um, so I like that they've been doing these streams. I also really like the little like, couple minute long informational videos they've been doing about the different classes, etc. So all that information was really good. But what really sold me was they did recently did a couple interviews with Co Carnage and Shroud. And in these interviews, like you could just really tell that they cared about the source material. And it's funny because the thing that sold me the most was how they were talking about water. So talking about how water needed to be a core mechanic, about how you needed to be able to harvest the blood of your, like people who had died. And like that was just such a core part of the books. And of course then of the movies. Um and like that's like a little more normal, right? The one that one of the devs, I forget which one, referenced like the process they describe in the book of like, in the book they describe like some of like areas where they'd have some greenery to catch the dew in the morning, and they would go out and collect the dew, which is some infinitesimal amount of water, but even that was so valuable to them. because water is so precious on Arrakis. So I like the way the devs were talking about that. It just gave me a lot of faith that like the game will probably be kind of janky because it's Funcom, but if they at least respect the source material, um, then I'm confident I'll have a good time. And it does look really cool. So I wasn't able to get into the open beta or in the beta they had recently, unfortunately. So this will be my first time getting my feet wet with the game. I'm gonna be playing tomorrow. So I'll probably stream that at least part of the day. Really looking forward to it. I hopefully will be covering Dune content a little bit moving forward. It's something I've had my eye on for a while. I've played a lot of single player games this year. I'd like to get back into a kind of multiplayer game. And it's nice that it has a little bit of a balance between PvE and PvP. I also really liked the Landsrad system that they talked about, which I thought the end game of this game was going to be almost entirely PvP dominated. But, from some of what they explained in these interviews and in their dev streams, it's actually not. Like there's a lot of opportunities to just do PvE and still contribute to the end game. So I will probably be going House of Atreides because I'm not a sicko. I'm not a weird person that would go Harkonnen. So definitely going House of Atreides. Probably going Benny Gesserit. Like mostly melee focused is my plan. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. But be streaming that and covering that. And as always, appreciate you watching. So I'll see you then. Talk to you later.